Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Football Pundit, where we will be talking about the latest transfer news and from the latest updates that are there. Now, some of them might be rumors, some of them really might hold more weight in them, and we are going to deep dive in all of them. So let's get started. The biggest news that has come is Alexander Isak being available on the market. Now, this broke yesterday, and I think this has really taken me back aback as well, because I personally thought that Alexander Isak would only be available if Newcastle would not qualify for the Champions League. And I think this was where clubs like Arsenal and other clubs who were looking for a proper number nine, maybe Liverpool, Chelsea, everybody would be eyeing Alexander Isak. He has been the most prolific striker in the Premier League, bar Haaland, and his number speaks for itself. He has scored close to 23 Premier League goals last season, and he helped Newcastle win their first trophy in so many years, which was the Carabao Cup. But what I personally thought that Alexander Isak already has 3 years left on his contract. He is already on good wages, and there is no reason for Newcastle or maybe Isak Isak to go away from Newcastle until and unless they qualify for the Champions League. And there was a lot of importance if Newcastle are going to qualify or not. But finally, they have done it, and I think with Newcastle qualifying, this particular Alexander Isak availability was really dusted because I thought that no club would be able to go for it now. He is already on good wages. He has long-term contract. They are playing the Champions League, and there is nothing that would attract Isak to come. And that's where I thought that Arsenal, even though being linked in rumors, or maybe actually they were trying to get him with the whole news of Newcastle qualifying, it just didn't go ahead after that. And there has been no rumors or speculations even being made that if Arsenal are going to go in for them. Because let's look at it this way. Even if Arsenal would like to go for Isak, it would not cost less than 150 million. And I'm just saying that to be very honest, this it will not cost less than 150 million or maybe even more because Newcastle, he is the main man for Newcastle. He is the gunman striker, a player who can link well, a player who can shoot from inside the box, outside the box. He can assist, he can dribble past players. And I think he was the reason why Arsenal didn't win the Carabao Cup because he totally outclassed our defense, which is one of the best defense in the league. Let's be aware of that. He totally outclassed Saliba. He totally outclassed Gabriel in the match at the Emirates and in the match which happened at the Newcastle Stadium. So I think this would really hurt me. And I think if Liverpool, for one or the other reason, are able to get this over the line, this would really make sure that they become the title contenders for the next season as well. They have already got good players. So they have got Frimpong, they have got Fabian Was, who is exceptional. And now what they need is a number nine. They already have Darwin Núñez, and bar a couple of games where he was proven as a clutch player, he has not added much value to the Liverpool team since the day that he has come in, and he has not hit the floor as well. And they would definitely want a proper number nine. With Isak going to them, I think that would make them the league contenders for sure for the second season in a row. But I think let's see what happens if they are going to move Darwin Nunes to maybe any of the Saudi club, which might give them a good amount of money. Then I think they would be able to reinvest that particular money in Isak. But I still feel Newcastle will do everything that they can to make sure that this doesn't happen because this guy is the main man for Newcastle. And since they are playing in the Champions League, they would not want to lose him at any cost. So for me, I don't think this is looking good. I don't think this will go through, but this was broken by Jacobs Ben yesterday, which took over the Twitter like a wild storm. So if you see, Liverpool are ready to shatter the British transfer record for a second time in quick succession as they remain determined to sign Isak if he is genuinely available. Now, this becomes a bit interesting where you see that Liverpool, they have already done a British transfer fee signing with Fabian Wurz, and this doing Isak as well. I think this would really like I personally feel that they should not, or some of the other reason Newcastle don't let it happen. And if because I personally wanted, and I personally really rate Isak higher than Sesko and Gyökeres and Osimhen as well. I rate him on the highest level, at least among these four strikers. He is already proven in the Premier League. He is ready to hit the floor. He's 25 years of age. He's in his prime. So I wanted Isak at Arsenal, but let's see what happens. But even if it happens, I think this is going to take more than 150 million for sure. Newcastle is not going to let it happen anything less than that. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about this? Do you think that Liverpool will be able to get this deal over the line? But still, like there is one specific words that is a bit interesting here. So if you see, for a second time in quick succession, as they remain determined to sign Isak if he is genuinely available. So as these two words, genuinely available, I think as for my understanding, he is not genuinely available. The club would not want to let him go. He brought the club back to winning a trophy, qualifying in the Champions League. So he would not like to leave until unless it's a staggering offer, and it's a staggering offer for both of them, like in terms of salary for Isak and in terms of a huge, huge money for Newcastle. Now, Newcastle might not need the money because Newcastle, they have the richest owner in the world. So I don't know if they will even bother about the money at this point. But let me show you something interesting about Isak's stats. So Isak, he has scored 23 goals in the Premier League. He played 34 games, which is a good figure. Out of 38, he was available for 34 games. So he's a fit player as well in that terms. 23 goals, 6 assists. In the EFL Cup, he had 3 goals, no assist. FA Cup, 1 goal. And in total, he had 27 goals and 6 assists in the Premier League. That makes 33 goal contribution. And he was the main hitman for Newcastle. He was exceptional and he had a fantastic season. So I don't see any reason for him to leave, but let's see what happens. Now the saga for Sesko and Gyökeres with respect to Arsenal. This has been glooming for a while now. It was initially said that since Arsenal already held negotiations or maybe talks with the club last year, where Sesko rejected Arsenal, stating that he might need another year to work himself in the Bundesliga to grow himself for the Premier League. This time, Arsenal went again in the January transfer window where they tried to check with Leipzig that if Sesko is available, because if you understand, Arsenal lost Saka, Arsenal lost Havertz, and Arsenal lost Gabriel Jesus. So to be honest, we were without strikers. So in the January transfer window, Arsenal did went back to Leipzig checking if there was a option or if there is a way that they could get a deal done for Sexco. But Leipzig said no, whatever happens, happens towards the end of the season in the summer transfer window. And I think that was more like a gentleman's talk between Arsenal and Leipzig where they agreed to it. They didn't want to do anything that would not be liked by Leipzig because they were also fighting for the Champions League and Europa League places. But now, when the season is over, Leipzig have not qualified for the European places, so they are not. They don't have any Champions League or Europa League next season, which means that they have less money to work with for the next season. And what that typically means is, and why this saga is continuing for over quite a while now, is initially there was a gentleman's agreement between Sesko with Leipzig and also with Sporting and Gyökeres, where there was an initial discussion of an agreement, I mean, verbal agreement between them, where the clubs would have said that anything between 60 to 65 million euro and you should be able to leave. Now that has changed with Leipzig because they need that money and they are quoting close to 80 to 100 million euro again along with add-ons to make this deal happen. Now there has been a lot of things that have been spoken that is also said for the same thing that the sporting president has said that Gyökeres is not going to leave for the initial terms that they had was around 60 million euro. He's not going to leave for that, nothing less than 80 as well for him. And yesterday there was a news that broke like on the Twitter where a lot of publications started saying that Arsenal have met an agreement with Cesco. So it's like a verbal agreement and has been approved and agreed between Arsenal and Cesco. And Arsenal are going to give an offer to Leipzig that will match their expectations and which Leipzig should like and the deal should get done. And that was a bad news for a lot of Gyökeres lovers. So all the people, including me, who really wants Gyökeres to come to Arsenal, we were not happy with that thing. But still, it felt like maybe Arsenal were concluding on things where day after day, one time it's Gyökeres, one time it's Sesko. So I think we were concluding on Sesko, and that was supposed to be happening. But this morning, again, a news broke off where his Sesko's agent Elvis he said that we have a clear plan. We will not force or blackmail Leipzig. We do things the right way or don't do them. Sesko will leave for a special club and a special project. This was dropped by Fabrizio Romano. And to give you more context on what he said that Sesko is not competing with anyone. It's him versus him every day. Of course, like he has to say that, but he's competing with Gyökeres at least at this moment in time, not for his move. So they have a clear plan for his future. Media speculation doesn't affect them. Sespo is a special striker, not just a typical forward. His numbers at this age prove it. And I think I have to agree, he doesn't have a very out of the box numbers is 13 goals with I think maybe 5 or 6 of assists. Maybe I'm getting the assists wrong, maybe, but you can check. But the numbers of the Bundesliga goal are 13. So he's 22 years of age with a lot of potential and with a very high ceiling. So for a 22 years old, 13 goals and maybe 5 6 assists, that becomes close to 18 19 goals contribution. It's a good number. It's not a bad number for his age. Now he will only leave Leipzig for a special club, special project, and a coach. Special club being Arsenal, special project being Arteta's project, and the coach Mikel Arteta himself. They are not pressing Leipzig for a lowering fee or forcing a move to Arsenal. They respect Leipzig and trust Leipzig will respect their future decision. A move could happen anytime, next week, next year, or even in 3 years. So I don't think they will wait for that long, but yeah, he has to say these things to make sure that it looks good. They won't force or blackmail the club. The way a player exists shows his true values. And I think he has said a lot of things, but I think the main thing still remains the same, where Sesko and his agent, they try to make sure that initially by putting in details where they are trying to talk to Arsenal, an agreement has been made and things like that. It is not there as of now. And Arsenal, even though they like the player, they like the profile, it might suit Arsenal as well. They don't want to go beyond a specific margin. So that means that maybe they have quoted maybe 60 plus 10 million in add-on. They would not like to spend 80, 90 on Sesko. And that is where the whole deal is a bit in the air right now. Now, with the news of with the news that blew the internet yesterday on Arsenal meeting the or maybe agreeing a verbal agreement with Sesko and his agents, Florian Plettenberg said that Arsenal are currently not willing to pay the 80 to 100 million demanded by Leipzig for Sesko. There has been no official offer from Arsenal yet. The player and the Arsenal remain in contact, but personal terms have not been fully agreed. And the news was all about how personal terms have been agreed, and it is an Arsenal putting in an offer which might suit Leipzig was imminent, but that's not the case yet. So keep your fingers crossed, Gyökeres fans. So Arsenal are still monitoring Vicar Gyökeres. It will be crucial to see whether he can move for the verbally agreed 60 to 70 million euro or if Sporting will demand more. Now there was a statement from Sporting president as well where he said that Gyökeres will not likely go for anything less than 80 million euro. And I think both Gyökeres and Sesko they had a gentleman's agreement with the clubs where it was said that I will be playing for you this season, and come the next season, if a big club comes for me or a good offer comes for you in the region of 60 million, you will let me go. And we all know that gentleman's agreement have never worked in football. Let it say Kylian Mbappe, let it say Harry Kane, or any other player for that sake. So this has not worked out, and with both the clubs trying to cash in on these players, they are not going to budge on the value that they have set. So the value according to them is 80 to 100 million for Cisco and maybe 80 to 90 for Gyökeres, which is more or less same price for both of them, with one being 27, one being 22, but one being a proper gunman, a striker that I would absolutely love at Arsenal, because Arsenal cannot go for a project player right now. They have already been in the project for 5 seasons. We need to win trophies now. And I think Gyökeres will be the right person to hit the floor running for Arsenal. Whereas Sesko, he might need a bit of time to adapt to the Premier League. He's still young. I'm not judging Sesko in any way, but I'm just saying what Arsenal would need right now, a proper man who's ready to hit the floor. So there was something on the same lines Plattenberg quoted as well, that as reported and confirmed, there is no full agreement between Benjamin Sesko and Arsenal. RB Leipzig are demanding 80 to 100 million euro. And I think Arsenal would love to get 80 million in 80 million, but I think that range, I think what Leipzig would want is as close to the 100 million mark. And I think that is going to be a bit tricky because I don't think Arsenal would be willing to pay that much of amount. Now, there was another news that broke yet today morning, and this was by Alex Crook, a journalist who works with the Talksport, and he was live on the Talksport show where he said this. He said that I have received a text this morning, and the close circle of Victor Gyökeres, now close circle, maybe his friends or family, expect him to sign for Arsenal shortly. So this was a very big statement that he made, and this blew over Twitter in terms of the Gyökeres and Arsenal news. And let me see if I can play that video. So I think, yeah, I think it's here.
Or so ago, suggesting that Victor Gyökeres has told friends and family he expects to join Arsenal. Again, I had a message 24 hours or so ago suggesting that Victor Gyökeres has told friends and family he expects to join Arsenal. Again, I had a message 24 hours.
So he has told his friends and family that he expects to join Arsenal. Now, how true is that, and how like valid the person that who spoke this about is, like, again, not in terms of Alex Crook himself. He might have got this news for some friends or family. I'm not sure about who this person is, but is he really credible? Is he really maybe trying to leak some news, maybe to create some impressions or things like that? Or if this is really genuine that the friend shared with him. So let's see what happens. I, again, personally, for me, there is absolutely no doubt that Arsenal should go for him, and he should be the priority signing for Arsenal. We all have already seen we have been missing a striker since Aubameyang left, and this is the perfect guy for Arsenal. And there is something that I really wanted to talk about. I see a lot on Twitter now, X, and a lot of the football podcasts that are there, and where a lot of people, again, Arsenal fans, are saying that Benjamin Sesko meets our style. So whatever style that Arteta is trying to play, let it be hold up, maybe linking striker, kind of that, maybe a striker who drops a bit deeper and then takes the ball, a striker who is good on headers, and Sesko is the guy who suits this. Now, I think rather than Arsenal getting a player who suits the style, I think Arteta can also change his style to suit the player. Now, what do I mean by that? What does that mean that Arteta should change himself? I'm not saying that he should change the whole philosophy, but if you see, we had Olivier Giroud, and Giroud was a like a target gunman. When you give the ball to him, he will try to hold it. If you give him, he'll try to head it or maybe just score it. So, but then we got Aubameyang, and we were better with Aubameyang. He was the guy who got us the last FA Cup that we have won. He was our captain, and he was very different to Giroud. So when Giroud used to play as a lone, like not like a lone striker, but like a target man, and Aubameyang used to field off the defenders. So he used to run off defenders, and that's how his playing style was, on speed and trying on his movement. And Arsenal did well. I think we all agree that Aubameyang would be a better striker than Olivier Giroud. Now, in the same way, if you see, Pep started with Aguero, a very different kind of striker. Then he won the league with that. Then he changed his system and went to a false nine. He won the league with that. And then maybe of all the players Pep would have handled, he went for a target man, which is Haaland. And he won the league with that as well. So I think good managers, they adapt to the players that they have. It's not that we have to fill in players that suit our style. We should be able to adapt to the what the players needs and how the player wants to receive the ball. And it would not take like it's not we are not calling for a huge adaptation. We're just small tweaks here and there. So I think this whole agenda on how Sesko fits in better than Gyökeres, I think I really don't buy that. I think Gyökeres is the guy, and is a prolific striker, a proper number nine, a gunman that we need. Now, this is something that we already spoke about. And this is something interesting that Eduardo Hung and Duncan Castle, journalists who have shared this. So it is said that Benjamin Sesko is asking for a release clause of any deal he agrees with Arsenal. I think it's unlikely that Arsenal would agree a deal on that terms, and this makes things very interesting because now, if you understand, Gyökeres is 27, Sesko is 22. Now, suppose he signs a 5-year deal, let's say 80 million euro deal, and it's a 5-year deal, and he would like to have, let's say, a release clause of 100 million. So suppose if he comes and blows up the Premier League, completely starts breaking the record, starts hitting 20 to 25, 30 or more league goals, completely blows up, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, or other big clubs will start coming for him. Now, if it doesn't have a release clause, it will be on Arsenal on how much money they want to cash in, or if they even want to cash him or not. But if they have a release clause, it's like pay me 100 million or pay Arsenal 100 million and you can take away the player. And this is something that Arsenal would not like to have in any means. So just say like we are paying 80 million for a player and just in the next couple of years somebody can take them for 100 million. Again, these are just maybe hypothetical numbers, but I'm just stating what can happen. And I personally think that it's unlikely Arsenal would agree a deal on that terms. I completely agree with this. Now the player Martin Zubimendi, the guy that we it seems that we have signed in the January, but it's still like hanging in the balance. So what has happened is Arsenal. This is broken by Fabrizio Romano, where he said that Arsenal will pay slightly more than 60 million release clause as a part of the pact with Real Sociedad for Martin Zubimendi deal. The fee will be a bit higher, but allowing payment in installments as clubs share excellent relationship. Here we go, confirmed. Now, there is a bit of things that if I try to read between the lines, that helps Arsenal. So if you see, initially it was like pay the release clause, get Zubimendi. And I think why Arsenal are not getting any deals done is to maybe help with their maybe their financial fair play books. So if they start doing deals or maybe start paying things from July, it will help them or it will go in the next year budget, which will help Arsenal. Now again, I'm not sure because I see Manchester City already splashed more than 200 million. I see Liverpool have done that. So I really don't understand. But Liverpool didn't do anything last season. So maybe it makes sense for them. But still, City's I don't know what happened to that 150 charges. But okay, let me not step away from the main topic. So what have happened is Arsenal will pay slightly more. So initially it was let's say 60 million. Now slightly more. What does that mean? Maybe 5 million more, 10 million more. I'm not sure what does that actually mean, but let's say it is 10 million more. Let's take that as a number. So if they play 70 million and if they have to pay it in installment, that would help Arsenal in terms of covering their financial books. And also, if you have to say it, Arsenal need a lot of money to get the other players as well. Even if they go for Gyökeres or Sesko, it will not happen less than 80 million or at least 70 million along with add-ons. If Arsenal do need a left winger, now left wingers that are available, they have been in talks with Rodrigo. I don't know how much concrete or feasible that deal is, but if it happens, it will not cost less than 90 million. Then there is like all the other left wingers. If Arsenal were trying to go for, like let's say, who are the other the AC Milan winger Rafael Leao. So Rafael Leao, I personally like him, but let's say that even if we try to get him, it will not be less than 70 million. So all these players, we need cash for that as well. And I think this is good for Arsenal that they can split the payments across multiple years. That will help them have enough cash reserves now to get the other players that are required. And I think this is a good move by Arsenal because suppose if they put in all the cash 60 million there, so 60 million is already gone. Rather than if they put 20 million upfront, 40 they are still saving, and these 40 can be utilized to get other players in. And I think for me, it sounds fair. Now, this was something that was said. We already know that Manchester United have got Cunha. Now, Cunha, I think, again, like for me, he has been exceptional for Wolves this season, and I think he's a perfect fit for Manchester United. And I think one thing that I think now the Premier League clubs, or at least with Manchester United, they have started doing is they have started going back to the Premier League proven players. Earlier, they got Zerski, Garnacho, Højlund, and other players, maybe not Mount. But apart from that, they got all the other players from here and there from different leagues, and they didn't hit the floor running, and that caused them the issue. They were high transfer fees, high money, high wages, and that has not helped them. But right now, I think they have started to move towards their old way of how Manchester United used to work. Is they used to get players which are proven in the Premier League from the other clubs, maybe the bottom half club or maybe the clubs which are there in the medium mid table. So with them, Cunha being one of the good signings, and Buemo, I think he's even better than Cunha. At times he can play as a forward, he's a right winger predominantly, but I think he will be an excellent signing. But there have been a recent talks around like how Thomas Frank, who is now the Tottenham manager, would like to pull him to Tottenham. But still, Brent Jacobs said that Manchester United remain optimistic on Buemo. Brentford attacker remains MUFC despite Thomas Frank appointment at Spurs. Nothing club to club agreed yet, but talks continue. And I think if Brentford would at least demand close to 60 to 70 million for Buemo, I think that is for sure. And maybe Manchester United would likely offload a couple of players before they can get this done. But let's see how important Thomas Frank plays a role in getting or maybe moving Buemo to Tottenham because Tottenham have Champions Leagues to offer. Thomas Frank, he has already worked with him, but what he wants is Manchester United. So let's see where this goes. But I think to whichever club he goes, he will be an exceptional signing for them. I personally rate this player highly, and I would have loved him at Arsenal. But since he predominantly plays on the right wing, he will be playing as a backup to Saka, which I don't think that he will be willing to. So yeah. And with this news, Nico Williams and Barcelona have agreed personal terms on a 6-year deal. Now, this has opened the market for Arsenal. So, if you already know that Arsenal were trying to get this Nico Williams in, and I'm not sure how much you rate Nico Williams. I personally think he's a good player, but not someone who is like ready to go for. So not someone like Rodrigo, not someone like Rafael Leao. So I was not very much impressed with him. His numbers in like the league games with Athletic Bilbao and his numbers internationally are very different. International football he plays really well. For Bilbao, I just watched a couple of games and I was not impressed by that. But still, he has a lot of potential. He's very young, so there is a lot of ceiling for him to grow. But what is said is agreement sealed on the player's contract until June 2031 with the salary in the region of 7 to 8 million net per season. That's a very good salary. Even if I think if I maybe just eyeball it, how much he will get, at least 200, close to 200 million, sorry, close to 200,000 pounds or euro per week. I think that's a very good salary for him. So Barca currently working on financial terms to get the deal done with Athletic, and I think this is a very good signing for them. He will really he would be joining with his teammate Yamal with a very fantastic line for Barcelona. So if you see, you have Rafinha, Yamal, Lewandowski, then you have added to that Nico Williams, and you already have Pedri. So I think this is looking to be a really full firepower attack for Barcelona. And not to say they already were powerful when it comes to attack, and I think they will be going a level up on that. Now this news has come where Thomas Partey and Arsenal are not going to have. So like I was trying to say something else, then I thought, okay, let me share something else with you. But okay, anyways, let me not uh, step away from the point. So negotiations between Thomas Partey and Arsenal are not advancing. No agreement so far, and now concrete chances to part ways in the upcoming days. Thomas would be available as a free agent. He is already available as a free agent. Arsenal were trying to have discussions with him, as per other reports, where they were trying to offer him a deal of a year or two. He's already 32 this year, and they were not trying to increase the wages. He's on £200,000, and they were not willing to increase that. Thomas Partey, what I have heard in the news, that he would want a bit of pay rise along with a longer contract. And Arsenal, given his injury prone nature and the wages that he's already on and his age, would not like to do that. And that's where the agreement is not going to happen and the deal is not advancing. If you ask me, I would have said that Thomas Partey has been brilliant for Arsenal this season. And if you remove Thomas Partey right now, it would take Arsenal a couple of steps back. Where, just think of it for a moment, Zubimendi and Thomas Partey. This would have been fantastic for Arsenal. Two proper number six baller. And I think even if you rate Declan Rice, I think the ball playing ability of Partey, the composure when it comes to keeping the ball in tight areas, trying to play those through balls, trying to place those defense splitting pass, Partey does it far better than Declan Rice. Declan Rice might be a better number six when it comes to interceptions and tackling, but the ball playing ability and the composure, Thomas Partey beats him fair and square. And Zubi, adding to that, Zubimendi, I think that would have been exceptional. But since this is not happening, we'll be only left with Zubimendi. And if you say you can play makeshift Declan Rice as number six as well, but right now he plays as a left-sided number eight. So this will not help Arsenal. Jorginho is already gone with Thomas Partey leaving. I think Arsenal should try to get anything done, maybe even if it takes a bit of hit, but not let Thomas Partey go. He has been exceptional for Arsenal this season, and he is absolutely rock solid when it comes to his ball playing abilities. Now, this news was broken by Emi Martinez himself, and this was something that was later on revealed by Jacob Sven, where he said that Emi Martinez has made it clear that he wants to join Manchester United, and Aston Villa haven't ruled out its sale. Now, Aston Villa, they haven't qualified for the Champions League. They do have a bit of financial fair play books to adjust, and this money might help them. So it could take around £40 million to get a deal done, but United haven't made a final decision on replacing Onana yet. So let's see what happens. But I think Martinez, the World Cup winning goalkeeper, a player that I personally rate very highly, and I have been a big fan of Martinez when it comes to his. I mean, if you are playing in the opposite team, I think you will not like him because he will really like rile the fans up with his whole gestures and everything. But if you are playing, or if you are supporting the same team that Emi Martin is playing, you will love the him absolutely. One of the best keeper when it comes to saving the penalties. His shot stopping ability is good. He can play the ball as well, and a very good keeper, if I have to say. And it will be a very good signing for Manchester United. But I think 40 million. Let's see if they really go for that, because they already have Onana on high wages, and I don't think that anybody is going to take Onana as of now, because he has not been performing well. He, I mean, when it comes to making those mistakes, when it comes to making those howlers, Onana's maybe compilation on YouTube will really hit something way above anybody else. So let's see what happens here. I personally think it will be a very good move for Emi Martinez and for Manchester United. But that price tag, and if United would really like to focus on a keeper apart from other players, let's see what happens. Now, some good news on the Arsenal side, where Mike Lewis Kelly agreed to sign a long-term contract with Arsenal, all done and yet to be seen. So this is something that is set to be confirmed. The player only wanted to stay at Arsenal, and talks have been advancing for months, as reported. He's staying, and a new deal is confirmed by Charles Watts. So I think this is really good news for Arsenal. There have been recent links how Real Madrid wanted Lewis Kelly and how they were trying to make sure that they get the deal done, or maybe trying to have some talks with him or his agents. But I think this is a very good news for Arsenal. The deal is done and agreed, and I think he personally deserves a good contract and with a bit of pay rise. He Nobody thought that he would come in and make left back his place. Now, if you know that he is predominantly a center midfielder, he works. This is where he has been playing, but he was brought in as a makeshift left back, and he has outclassed Sinchenko. He has outclassed Calafiori, Kivior. Maybe Kivior he was playing at the left side center back, so maybe we can skip him. So, but still, I think he has been exceptional, and I think one of the best talent that we have seen in Arsenal in recent times. So kudos to him and kudos to Arsenal for getting this done. Now, on the other good news that we have, okay, I think I missed that. So there was another news on the same lines where Ethan Nwaneri also is looking to sign a deal with Arsenal and a long-term contract for him as well. And I think both of these players, they have been very good for Arsenal, and we need them, and we need Arsenal to tie them on a long-term contract with maybe a bit of good wages as well, so that we can keep them at the club. So I think that is also going to happen. I think I missed that somewhere. It was shared by Fabrizio itself. Now, on the other news, Atletico Madrid are moving to sign Liverpool left back Andy Robertson. No formal talks yet between the clubs or with the 31-year-old, but Theo Hernandez out of frame, Scotland international among options Atletico are considering. I think I think it's time for maybe Andy Robertson to move. He's already 31 years of old. He will turn 32 this year, and it's a good time for him to maybe take that. If he gets a very good wages, he should take it and move to Atletico. I think this will be a good move for them. But let's see what happens. But this was something that was broken up by David Onsim himself, where Atletico Madrid are not talking. There is no negotiations yet. It's just that they are seeing if a deal can be done. So it's just weighing up a move. Now we already know the biggest news of the summer transfer window yet. It's Florian Wirtz to Liverpool, and it is set by Fabrizio Romano that from an exclusive story on the deal agreed 8 days ago, Florian was at Liverpool, arrival at Liverpool with medical to follow within the next 48 hours. All documents are in place, and then Wirtz will be unveiled as a new Liverpool club record signing. And I think this guy, I absolutely like the way he plays. He has that Brazilian flair in him with good scoring ability, good dribbling ability, and good long range within him. I think this would be, I think this player would really just go and just fit right in the Liverpool. So in the way Liverpool play and the way Arne Slot plays. So I think this would be a perfect fit for them. And now let's see what other news we have. So we have one more news where the Liverpool defender Conch is wanted by Bayer Leverkusen. Talks between the two clubs are set to continue once Wirtz is completed. A and This is broken by Alex Crook, again the Talksport journalist who's broke the news of maybe some really close friends or family who shared the news that Gyökeres is going to join Arsenal shortly. Let's see. Now, in terms of departure, we already saw with Liverpool that Robertson might move. Then we have Conch who might be moving, and we have Kesia who plans to leave Liverpool and play more this season, as reported 2 weeks ago. This is again broken by Fabrizio Romano. Italy coach now Gattuso, AC Milan legend. He said that Kesa must play more. It's important. Our doors are always open, but we want Kesia to play more on regular basis. So he's talking about the international matches. If he wants to play, he should get a bit more game time. That is what Gattuso is saying because Gattuso is now the head coach for Italy. So let's see where Kesia goes. And Fabrizio also added that on the Quan story that the player has opened doors to joining Bayer Leverkusen while clubs are in direct contact. After first Frimpong deals completed, Bayer and Liverpool are negotiating for Quanch. So that's the news there. While let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about these deals? Who do you think is your favorite news? And what do you think should happen if it has to happen? And if there is anything that you would like to share, put down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and what do you think is would be or maybe the correct thing for Arsenal, Manchester United, Liverpool, or any other club to do at this moment in time. Now, before we quickly log off, let me check if we have some news on Fabrizio. So just let me check. I'm just checking for breaking news. So it's again the same thing. Carlos Cuesta again, all the best to him. He's just 29 years old, and I think he has been fantastic for Arsenal as an assistant coach. And I think like all the best to him, but I will really miss him. He is now unveiled as the new Parma head coach until 2027. So kudos to him. Now Napoli are negotiating. Okay, Crystal Palace are in talks with Sporting CP Usman Diomande. Negotiations underway with the player open for a move to Premier League. Fabian Verse, we already discussed. Uh, Nico Williams agreed personal terms work. It's something we already discussed. Liverpool remain in Ekiteke days. Yeah, so this is something that is a bit interesting. So if you remember that there was recent news that how Manchester United were at least weighing up their options in trying to sign Ekiteke from Frankfurt. So Ekiteke is the striker for Frankfurt, a young guy, 22 years of age, again just like Sesko, who is has a very high ceiling and a very high potential. And Manchester United were weighing if there is a deal that could be done. And I think Liverpool have also entered that race as well. Maybe this is all comes where how Isak would cost them like a record transfer, and Ekiteke might be a more favorable that they might be able to get in 70 to 80 million euro. Yeah. Yep. So I think this is all the news that I have for you today. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about Gyökeres or Sesko? Who do you think Arsenal should really sign? And who do you think Arsenal should go for? What should be the correct price for them? Do you think Martinez going to Manchester United would really help Manchester United? Or do you think Manchester United should put their attention towards other areas or other positions in the field? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Again, I'll see you tomorrow on the same time on the same live stream with the latest updates on the transfer market. So thank you so much for joining in, and I wish you thank you.